Bob Iger, CEO of the Walt Disney Company, is doing the unthinkable. As they are preparing to announce his replacement, the Mousy Messiah has gone to Abu Dhabi to take pictures reminiscent of Walt Disney himself. There's only one problem for Bob. The land he's standing upon, where Disneyland Abu Dhabi will one day be, doesn't belong to Disney. And Disney will not run anything that's on said land. Today we'll show you why Bob is standing on unsteady sand. Hello folks, welcome back. It is an exclusive story right here on the Pro Channel, and we are happy to share it with you. As we dive in, click the like button, drop a comment down below, and if you see the hype button, time is ripe to hit the hype. But the time is definitely not ripe for Bob Iger to stand out there in the Middle East trying to be reminiscent of what Walt was doing in those orange groves in Anaheim. Folks, it's a bad time to be Bob. We'll tell you why right now. Bob Iger wants you to know that he's Walt Disney and maybe more so than Walt himself. Out of thatparkplace.com, the website that if you're not yet bookmarked to, well, you should be. It's by Trevor Denning. Bob Iger uses the future side of Disneyland Abu Dhabi for Walt Disney style photo op. Folks, I'm going to go down and show you the pictures of Walt when he was touring the future side of Disneyland. You can see him there wearing his hat, wearing his shirt. He's out there touring. He's taking a look at everything. And there's Roy Disney, his brother, and they're doing the stuff. And these are iconic. These are famous. Well, what if I told you that Bob wanted the same? Scott Gustin has this. Disney CEO Bob Iger shared a photo from the future side of Disneyland Abu Dhabi with the caption, "Walking the site of what will one day be Disneyland Abu Dhabi. Lots of work ahead, but all very exciting. The waterfront resort on Yas Island was announced in May of 2025. Look at Bob strolling through just like Walt used to do, only this time in the Middle East. And this is what it's supposed to look like. That's the beautiful future Disneyland Abu Dhabi. That's Bob walking on it." Jonas, there's just one huge problem with this. Go ahead.
Freeze on that image. This image right here. This is in Abu Dhabi, which is the site where Jakku was filmed. What they should have done is capitalized on this and had a second sun there in the sky, not have it be Jakku, but a stand-in, and have an old woman walk up to him and say, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm Bob Skywalker."
I have that picture on X, Lauren.
There's one thing he could not do.
He would have said, "I'm Bob Disney."
Yes, exactly.
He could not say that this is the home or this is something that Disney owns, because Jonas, when Walt was taking those pictures, when Roy was in the photos, they owned the land.
They absolutely did.
I think Bob's park.
That's right. I think that Bob probably watched Disney Handcrafted and learned a lot of things about the company that he didn't know before, because I don't think this guy gives a flip about the legacy of Walt Disney. There you go. This is all just very awkward to me. He's just some business guy, and
he's a weatherman,
and he's got his nice white button-up shirt. You know, we thought a sweater would be too much for the desert. He's got his nice white sneakers, and he looks stiff as a board. Maybe he's got back problems. I don't want to give him a hard time about that, but he doesn't look like Walt getting out there and looking like he works with his hands, and he's got a cowboy hat on, and he's in an area that they're going to completely transform, and he's probably going to be surveying every single piece of it here, that kind of thing.
They don't own the land.
They don't own the land.
They're not designing the park either. They're not doing anything.
It's a licensing opportunity here that Disneyland Abu Dhabi, or whatever it is, Disney Yas Island, is paying Disney to say, "Hey, we're going to build one of your theme parks. We would like to consult with your people," because that's probably a requirement here. "We are going to build this, and we're going to build it better than anything that you're willing to pay for in the United States." But folks, I think Bob Iger really, really wants everybody to respect and revere his legacy and try to pretend like he has anything to do with the actual creative vision of Walt Disney, when this guy is he's just some guy who lucked into ABC getting purchased by Disney, and now he's just this IP sponge that soaks up all of these intellectual properties and doesn't squeeze out any value when it's all said and done. This guy's been a disaster for the company, He's caused, if you had a stack of cash sitting in your mattress over a 10-year period, a certain 10-year period, it would have gained more value than what Bob Iger has done with this company, despite having purchased a $40 billion company for $70 billion in the middle of all that.
But this gets so much worse. Jonas, I'm going to show you something I don't think you've seen yet. Because do you see the picture on the screen, Jonas? You see the picture with the pier?
Yes.
What if I told you we found that pier?
Oh, really?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the potential future site of Disneyland if that picture is accurate, because that's the pier that is being pointed to. National News has this. And folks, I want you to look at the bottom right. You might not think about looking to the bottom right because that's not where the arrow points, but you need to do so because Yas Mall. I want you to see the size of a mall. That mall would not fit where a freaking Disneyland is supposed to go. Pardon my language so harsh. But this is crazy. If that is where it's going, and that's the pier that's being shown in the Bob Iger photo, this is the teeniest, tiniest, itsy bitsy midway of a Disneyland.
I'm going to
read on this thing.
I'm going to disagree with you, and I think you know how I'm going to disagree with you.
I do. I'm worried.
With the way that they do land out there, if they don't have it, they will build more.
Well, they may and they could, but if that's the case, I mean, this is going to be forever before this gets finished.
I'll also, yes, I think it will be. Well, when you don't have to worry about this well-being, the long-term well-being of your workers, things can move pretty fast.
Jonas, are you suggesting they'll move heaven and earth, but mostly earth?
Yes, and I'm thinking of the walls of Jericho being built with the firstborn and finished with the lastborn in the Old Testament.
I think in Thor Ragnarok, Jonas, they called them prisoners with jobs.
Something like that. I think there might technically be wages changing hands, but about that same level of choice in the matter.
I think it's all being built by Fire Spray Gunship.
So, yes, by Boba Fett Starship. Looking at this, it's so funny to watch a guy who's is worried about his image as Bob Iger, how popular he wants to be with the left, and the fact that this is one of the most capitalistic things they could ever do. It probably will be one of the best Disney park in the world, possibly because of how much money they're willing to spend out there. I think that this is the coarsest, silliest image that he could have put out there, trying to LARP as if he is Walt Disney when he is the destroyer of creativity in the world. And yet he wants to play as if he's a very creative executive. He really needed to be there to help Bob Chapek. Sorry, I rant when I think about what this guy has done to this company.
Well, he wants to be revered in a way that clearly Walt never was or should not be, apparently, according to him. It's so. Bob Iger is an insult to Walt Disney and the legacy that Walt wanted to leave behind, and him doing something like this, it just kind of exemplifies the fact that it's insulting, that he is an insult to Walt Disney and what he's done to Walt's company. Especially, I think that it was over his entire tenure, but we've really seen it over the last 5 years, and especially since he made the huge mistake of coming back and basically revealing that all of this bad stuff that happened to Disney was under his watch.
Yeah. Put John Lasseter out there and I'll believe the photo.
Let me just say this, though. And maybe you're right, Jonas. Maybe they're going to fill in this entire, waterway. I don't know. What is this called over here? I don't know. But maybe they're going to fill it in.
Probably a wadi.
We got us a fishing spot over there. Bob's fishing spot. Look at fishing spot. Anyway, here's the deal. Beach in Yas might be the place for Disneyland, Abu Dhabi. Disneyland Resort is considered tiny because Disney wanted to buy more land but couldn't. It's more than 500 acres when you combine all the parking lots and everything. This would be 374 acres, but look at the way the land is laid out. It's very narrow. It's not in a solid, square or something like that. This is a very narrow, winding piece of property. And that means that even if all of this land that's undeveloped, and we don't know that it's all the land, it could be less. But if all of that land is used for Disneyland and they don't add more water into the sea, then guess what? This is going to be easily the smallest Disney park ever. Disney won't own it. Disney won't design it. But Bob Iger wants to stroll through like he's Disney himself because it's all about the optics. It always has been. This got the investors excited, and I dare say they should not have been. Marv, I go to you. What do you think about it?
It's ridiculous. When Walt Disney took those photos, when Roy Disney took the photos in the Walt Disney World site, that was a theme park that was being created from Walt's imagination and creativity that Roy was shepherding for in the memory of his brother. And what you saw here is Bob Iger trying to portray the same kind of emotion, trying to pull that same kind of feeling out of people for something that he has no creative input on whatsoever. He sold a license. That's it. They're not designing this park. They're not building this park. It's absolutely insane to think of this as a park that Bob Iger has built. I mean, he was all over the place with, Shanghai Disneyland, which I believe was, is under the ownership of the Chinese government too. So Bob Iger is not building these places. Bob Iger is not facilitating the growth of this company. He's just selling out licenses. That's it. That's not what Walt Disney did.
That's right. Jonas, what are you going to do on a bet? What are we going to say about whether or not they add land to the sea to increase this size?
They're
What do you
definitely
think?
adding land.
I'm fairly certain. I generally don't do wagers just because of my moral code and my desire not to encourage others to do that. I'm fairly certain. I'll say that I think that's going to happen. That's a prediction I'm making.
To be fair, I don't think that Pro should be exposing himself any more than he already is.
Well, I would never expose myself. Jonas, they would have to add 150 acres of new land into that water. Mm-hmm. Water, which you would think is precious over there. They would have to take away 150 acres of waterfront or water area in order to have a Disneyland size area.
What if I told you that there's the possibility with this theme park that they would have more water than Walt Disney World flowing through that park when it's all said and done?
Wait a minute. Do you know things that I don't know? What are you trying to do?
No, I'm just saying these are people who they would love to have the flex of saying, look what we did. They're terraformers. They have so much money. They want to create something that will last for generations. This is something where I think that their ability to mold this area how they see fit is more important to them than the economic feasibility within the first 10 to 20 years.
See, I think they're looking at this and saying to themselves, yeah, we'll get our own little Disney. And I think because it's so hot, it doesn't, listen, having a huge park, that's not something that Abu Dhabi's interested in. I don't believe because it's going to be all inside. It has to be all inside because it's too freaking hot. It doesn't matter if it's, if it's outdoors. Can be outdoors. Anyway.
It's possible.
That's where we'll leave it. We'll see who's right in a decade, unless Jonas writes about that, unless he's right about that as well, and they terraform overnight. Who knows? Maybe they'll do it. We'll see. I know. You want more. You want more of the Pro Channel, folks, but we've got to head out the door for this video. But fret not yet, for more content is yet on the way. 3 times a day, thrice as nice, right here on the Pro Channel. Oh, what's that you say? You want more than that? Fine, we'll do 4. 4 videos. Well, yeah, that's happening. Folks, as you get ready to go, consider clicking the like button for us. It is a huge help. Also, like, share, subscribe, and click it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. We would also love it if you could drop on down and give us a comment. We love hearing from you. And although we can't respond to every single comment, we often are reading them indeed. Folks, we would encourage you to consider subscribing to our partner channels, that Park Place, that Game Place, and that Pod Place. We love them all. We think you might too. Until the next time we have the joy of joining with you, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.